Grid. I'm Mike Foreman, a sports writer with the Victoria Advocate. As you can see, I'm by myself today. Usually Marcus Gutierrez joins me, but he's a little busy right now. In fact, I assume he's on his way to Rosenberg, where Trailer Stadium, where Victoria West will open district play, District 27-5A, against the Richmond Foster Falcons. And of course, we'll have reports on that game. The district openers for teams in districts with 7 and 8 teams all start this week. Victoria West, as I said, is playing Foster. Tomorrow night, right down the road, we have Calhoun playing Lamar Consolidated. And this week, Victoria East has its off week, so East won't be playing. East opens district next week against Angleton. West, of course, Foster is always tough competition. Foster did lose last week to Tomball, but it's still going to be a very difficult game for West to start district with. So we'll see how the Warriors fare. I'm sure Marcus will fill us in on that next week. The Warriors are coming off their first win of the season. They went to overtime last week and beat Lavernia. And, of course, Calhoun, as I said, they're playing Lamar Consolidated on Friday night. The Sand Crabs coming off a win over Liberty Hill. And the Titans last week, they took a trip to the Valley, went to overtime again, the second time this season, but came out victorious against McAllen High. Tomorrow night we have, as I said, a lot of district games, but one in particular I think we need to talk about has gotten a lot of attention, and rightfully so, and that will be Yoakum at Hallettsville. The two schools very close. They played each other over 80 times, but it's become more important now that it's a district game, and of course last year they played twice. Hallettsville won the district game, went on to win the district championship, and then Yoakum came back and beat Hallettsville in the quarterfinals and went on to the state final. So another great game. Boy, just a lot of athletes on the field for that game. You have, of course, for Yoakum, you have the Moore brothers. You have Silas Robinson, the son of Yoakum coach Bo Robinson, and all three of those have committed to Division I schools. And those aren't the only athletes that Yoakum has, and you put them together with that big offensive line, and Yoakum, after that Quail loss, seems to be hitting its stride. Hallettsville, on the other hand, has been consistently good all season. Hallettsville also has athletes. You look at quarterback DJ Taylor. He's thrown for over 700 yards. You've got Scooter Adams, who had a big game last week for Hallettsville against Columbus. And then you also have that defense led by linebacker Jackson Reeves. And you have some good receivers, of course, in Jackson Taylor and Jordan Brooks. So that ought to be a great game. It's going to be a great atmosphere at Brayman Memorial Stadium. I'm sure it'll be packed, standing room only. I was talking to Hallettsville coach Tommy Pensick just yesterday, and he guessed, he wasn't sure, but he guessed the stadium holds around 4,500. But there's going to be a lot more people there in Hallettsville on Friday night. So that'll be a great game for people to watch. These two schools, they're both in the state rankings. They both have high expectations, and this will tell us a lot. And as we've said before, this may not be the first time they play. Last year they played twice, and it could very well happen again this season. Some other districts are opening. El Campo and Bay City open district play this week. You have the Ricebirds going to West Columbia to play Columbia. Columbia is a much improved team. The coach there is Brent Mashek, who, if people have been around here for a while, might remember that he was a member of Shiner's 1986 state championship team. And Brent is, I believe, in his second year there at Columbia, and that program is improving. On the other hand, you look at Bay City. Bay City now 3-0 for the first time since 2005. They're coming off a huge win in overtime over Cameron Yo. In fact, what's kind of interesting about Bay City this season is all 3 of its wins have been by 1 point, and 2 have been in overtime. And Bay City looks very much improved, and it will take on Stafford at home. And that's a big game for the Black Cats because they really need to get off, the district on the right foot. And if they can beat Stafford, they'll have a bye next week, and that'll be a huge step for the Black Cats. The other district, of course, we have is, I mentioned Yoakum and Hallettsville. There are a couple of other games, of course. Rice Consolidated will be playing Palacios, and also we have in that district Industrial Van Vleck, which is another big game. And then moving on a little bit towards Bay City, a really interesting game in a district opener is Tidehaven and East Bernard. David Lucio, who coached at Louise and moved to Tidehaven last season, that's his alma mater, by the way. He went to Tidehaven, has made great strides. But this is a good test for Tidehaven. East Bernard is perennially good. They're ranked number 8 in the state, undefeated coming in just as Tidehaven ends. So we'll see. The winner of this game, of course, you can't count out Bowling. Bowling has an excellent team. But the winner of this game will have an excellent shot at the district title. So, that's an important game down in El Maiden. I know a lot of good things going on. Last week, they celebrated the 50th anniversary of their state championship team. And this week, they have a big district game. So a lot of good things going on down there. There will be a game at Memorial Stadium, even though neither East nor West is playing there. The St. Joseph Flyers will play there on Friday against San Antonio TMI. The Flyers still looking for, their first win of the season, and realistically, they should have a good shot this week. They beat TMI 20-0 last year, and I know the Flyers really want to get in the win column. They have one more game next week in Katy against St. John before they go into district play, but I know St. Joe wants to get on the right track before it goes into district. And there is another really big game on Friday night, and I did want to talk about this a little bit. Refugio and Navarro. Refugio goes to Navarro in Geronimo, which, in case you're wondering where the heck Geronimo is, it's actually on Highway 123. When you go to Seguin and head to San Marcos, it's like about 10 miles down the road there. Navarro, of course, handed Refugio its only loss last season. It's a Class 4A Division I school, so it's a big school. In fact, Navarro advanced to the semifinals last year. It actually defeated Cuero in the quarterfinals, which I know is a sore spot for the Gobblers, but so Navarro graduated a lot of people, so it's a different team, but it's still undefeated, and be a great test for Refugio, which I'm sure you're aware has been through quite a bit this last week after its win over Edna, in which defensive back Casey Henderson fractured 2 vertebrae in his neck and had to be halo flighted to San Antonio. The news that we've heard, if you followed it, has been encouraging, although this is going to be a long process. We're obviously hoping for the best for Casey. One thing I did hear about this game, Navarro has raised money for Refugio, and it also plans to feed the team, the cheerleaders, quite a few people, the coaches. So, that's really nice. What a lot of people have reached out for during this, these are horrible things. I mean, I was at that game, and it's just something that you don't want to see. And to me, what amazed me is how the Refugio players rebounded after halftime and won that game, because that had to be very difficult for them. And it was difficult for the Edna players because, they witnessed it too. That's just one of those things that you don't want to see. But we have quite a few games this week. It'll be a busy week with district. We'll we'll keep you updated in the Cover It Live as we always do. We'll be tweeting out scores from the games like we always do. And, if you have any questions, we'll do our best to try and answer them. And so we've got, like I said, quite a few games coming up. And don't worry, tonight we'll keep you posted on West and Foster. And if that's it, if there are no questions.
No, just a few people watching. We've got Claudia Flores and Bill Buckert watching. But maybe they'll come later.
Okay, yeah. If you have any questions, you can always, send us a message or tweet at us, and we'll be happy to answer them. And if not, I'm counting on Marcus to be back next week when we're here again with the grid.
All right. Thank you so much, Mike.
Yeah.